Let's get the elephant out the room. I don't want to talk about this too long. I'm going to just talk briefly and let it go. We're talking about Shedeur. We ain't talking about nobody else. But his last name wasn't Sanders. We wouldn't have this discussion.
Stephen A., do you think that's fair, what Deion just said there, that if his last name wasn't Sanders, this wouldn't even be a discussion about retiring his jersey, Shedeur's?
No, it wasn't fair. Not in this equation. I do think it's fair when we talk about this criticism that has been thrown Shedeur's way as an NFL prospect by evaluators out there, some of the things that they were saying about him. I think that's more about his dad than about Shedeur. But overall, first of all, Shedeur's fantastic. And I personally believe that he's going to have an illustrious NFL career. I believe in the brother, no doubt. And the trajectory that him and Travis Hunter and others have turned that, have enforced that program, they deserve a lot of credit for it. But at the end of the day, in 2 years at Colorado, his record is 13-12. It was a 5-game improvement, went from 4-8 last year to 9-4 this past season, okay? And that doesn't usually garner retired jerseys. That's just a fact. And so it's rare that I think that Deion Sanders is wrong in terms of how, his perspective on what he thinks other people are thinking, because he's usually spot on. That's my brother. I got nothing but love for him. And I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be special. But overall, you just look at the record and, you look at him and what he's accomplished and whatever, and you give credit where credit is due. But a retired jersey, Travis Hunter's a Heisman Trophy winner. So you look at him, what he's brought to the program, of course. And, of course, Shedeur has brought great things. But 13-12 is 13-12 as the starting quarterback for the university. And it's just, it does seem, and it's early, too, because this is a spring game. He's just getting ready to get in the draft. I mean, this isn't years later. It's now.
And I agree with that.
It's kind of strange.
That last point you just said is just so early. Like, typically when your jersey's being retired, like, you have to come back on campus for a ceremony and you're these two guys are still on campus. Like, they haven't even left and moved on to their next destination yet. So I look at what Prime said and, like, yeah, what he's saying is true, where if his name wasn't Sanders, we wouldn't be having this discussion because we wouldn't be talking about these two guys having their jerseys retired this soon. Like, hey, I get it. Colorado's trying to capitalize on a moment right here and encapsulate it, because this is the way we're talking about this program since the Deion Sanders experience has been. And that brought over Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. But at the same time, like, they've had 2 first-round picks in the NFL draft before. They've had a Heisman Trophy winner before. They've had these things way too soon. You can debate all you want whether you feel like Shedeur should get his jersey retired.
Mike T., I want you to jump in, but what you said is so spot on. If his last name wasn't Sanders, we would not be talking about this because it wouldn't be getting retired right now. You're 100% right.
Right, but here's what I see it differently, guys, from a standpoint of, like, it's been transformational what those 3 people have done, Deion, Shedeur, and Travis Hunter. Like, they took a program that was moribund, really the worst of the worst. And now it's a program that is on the upswing. It's a historic turnaround. The only thing I would add—
Hold on, Mike T. This isn't an impact award.
No, but it is a legacy award. It is a legacy. Like, they have absolutely—
Isn't it about what you've done on the football?
I think
you know better than I do. You guys do. But isn't that what this is about?
Yeah, but I think in college football, it's also about the impact you've had on the program. The only thing I would add to it, Molly, is this: like, take a guy like a Cordell Stewart and add him to the class to say, like, we're gonna, induct, into the Colorado Hall of Fame, Shedeur, Travis, and Cordell Stewart, because there are other former Buffaloes that are also deserved.
The Hall of Fame is different than jersey retirement. Like, no one will ever wear 12 or 2 again. It's just like, damn, you got to do some really special things. Go ahead, Say.
Can I say something? No one's losing sleep over this. We didn't go to bed saying, how could you possibly retire the jersey? No. A question was asked. It was answered. Nobody's looking at Shedeur Sanders and saying this brother can't play. Nobody's looking at this brother saying he ain't going to do well on the next level. I think he should be the second quarterback taken in the NFL draft. I think he should be a high first-round pick. I think he's made an incredible contribution. And if you want to say the only reason they're talking about it is because he's my son, well, that's because Deion, arguably the greatest athlete who has ever lived, is an individual that draws attention because he's such a magnet. So that's your son. Okay, you might have it there, but it doesn't mean that it changes the answer to the question. If somebody sees you and they look at you and they say, yo, you
We're
could
out,
really,
SA.
really ball. You got mad skills, but your record was 13-12. That doesn't equate to a jersey being retired. That's all.
We got to go. And I also want to retire this conversation on this show. I'm done with it. You're right, Stephen A. It doesn't need any.
We're all there yesterday for a private workout with Shedeur Sanders. That was exactly 1 week to the day of round 1 of the draft. Today they're holding a private workout with Alabama's Jalen Milroe. Tomorrow with Louisville's Tyler Shuck, doing their due diligence at what Mike Tannenbaum has continuously pointed out is a very late date in the process for these kinds of things normally to get done. Dan Graziano, what should we be reading into that?
It's the last step in their evaluation process of these quarterbacks. Head coach Brian Daboll has a private workout that he likes to put the quarterbacks through so he can make a judgment on them, and he runs it. And he has very specific things he wants them to do, test their recall, all kinds of stuff like that. Did one with Jackson Dart a few weeks ago, and now they're doing these 3. So really, it's a data point that the Giants don't have yet that they feel they need to. Head coach has to sign off on what the order is, what kind of priority are these guys, you know, at what point do we feel like we might need to move up to get one of them, that kind of thing. So they'll gather this weekend after all of it and sort it all out.
I obviously have no inside information on this, but my read on this is that they're not taking Shedeur Sanders number 3, because if they were seriously considering taking him at number 3, I don't know why they would be working out other quarterbacks at this late date. Meeting with him makes sense to me. Meeting with Milroe and Shuck suggests to me that they are looking into options later in the draft.
Completely agree. And again, the timing is odd. Most teams have done this several weeks ago because right now you're refining your strategy. You're looking at other things, medical security, last minute things. So again, I give them credit for being thorough, but the timing is odd.
With that, how you have the number 3 pick? Is assume Cam Ward's going 1. Let's say Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, one of those guys will be at 3. How soon would you already know what you're doing with the 3rd pick? Like at this point, would you know, hey, we're going Shedeur, we're going Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter?
Absolutely. Your board is
Now
set.
you would know that?
Absolutely.
You would know 6 days before.
Yeah, 2 weeks before your board's finalized.
I think they do. And I think, you know, they're working out quarterbacks that they think they might have a chance to get later on. They have the 2nd pick of the 2nd round. This is a group that might all be there at that point, including Shedeur Sanders. Or you might be able to trade into the back end of the 1st round and get one of them. If they start coming off the board, if all of a sudden a surprise run happens, Cleveland goes up and get one, oh, we may need to move up now or else we're going to miss all of them. So I think that's where they are. But I'd be shocked if they took quarterback at 3. I think they're very happy with the idea of taking whichever of Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter is there.
So you pointed out Artie and Canarsie had strong fans on the Jets. What does he think of the Giants taking Shedeur Sanders at 3?
Well, I think for Sanders, what you have to understand is this is a guy that's not going to be exposed in the bright lights of New York City. It's not going to overwhelm him.
Right.
I think there's a comfort with this. The concern is the concern that everybody has. And a lot of people in New York wonder about Deion Sanders and how much he will hover over the Giants or hurl things from Colorado when he doesn't like what he sees about opportunity and everything else. But if anybody's fit to play for the Giants, it's Shedeur Sanders. He's had bad offensive lines running for his life. That's the life of a Giants quarterback.
Here's the question that I have. Again, you are a long-standing member of the New York media. If Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback,